Good morning, it's Shanna. We are going to do a journal prompt from LionHarts and do a little tarot spread with it and then see where that takes us. So I think I've mentioned before I add LionHarts tarot prompts to my journal every month on the month view, and then this is what I use most days when I journal. A couple of things I like to do, I add some kind of dot or like a star or something, some kind of highlight to dates that I especially like the prompt for, and I want to make sure that I, take the time to at least open my journal and look at it and see if it's something I want to do that day, just as kind of a reminder, because otherwise sometimes I get overwhelmed with all of the prompts. So anyway, and then I've added these, sometimes they'll put spreads on the prompts, like throughout the month. And so I make little pockets on the dates and I type up the prompts and I add them in. So that's that. So today is what? Wednesday. What are we, the 17th? Man. Okay, pause, I have to sneeze. Okay, sorry about that. I am not a polite, quiet sneezer. I'm a loud sneezer. So anyway, okay. So in what area should I cultivate patience and nurturing energy during this time? So usually, as I've mentioned, I usually have a deck or two or, a set specific decks that I use throughout any given month. Which for the month of April so far has been the Mystic Fairy. But I don't know, it felt like an early April thing, and we're like nearing the mid to later April, and I have not been feeling that deck for the last couple of days. So I need to pick a different deck, and now that I'm sitting here saying that out loud, I have not yet done that. So I'm going to get a couple decks. I'll bring them over. We can do a really, really quick flip through and decide, and then we'll get to this reading. So I'm going to pause you again for just a moment while I go gather a few decks. Okay, I grabbed 2 tarot and 1 oracle. First one, I'll just start with, I love Paulina Faye's artwork, but really I'm just trying to see if this is an April vibe for me. This is very blue. This feels more like, is this in April? I mean, he's wearing a coat and a scarf, and this feels very January. Okay. Next is the Chrysalis Tarot, which I think this is going to be the one. I saw it and I kind of knew before it even came back out. Yeah, this is going to be it. This is going to be our deck today. Okay, so I will pull out the guidebook just in case. Oops, just knocking things around. And potentially I wanted to use the Fairy Guidance Oracle, again by Paulina Faye, although here it's Pauli Faye. This deck is technically out of print. I found it on a random person's online shop about maybe a year ago. And also last summer when I was in Canada for my daughter's wedding, I was in a metaphysical shop and they had this, and I was so excited to see it, and I almost regretted that I had already purchased it online, because what a fabulous find to have been able to find in a shop. So I did not wind up buying it. I knew someone else would come along and be thrilled to find an out of print deck. So yeah, so anyway, this feels good. Okay, so how do I want to do this? I don't really have a method or, a specific ritual for how I set up a spread when I do these journaling prompts. I kind of just go with the vibe in the moment. So I think what I'm going to do is we'll pull an oracle and then we'll kind of build on that on either side of it as support. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to move this to the side. Generally when I do these journal prompts, I move my journal space to shuffle and everything, but I do leave it out because I like to think of the question while I'm shuffling, and I don't always remember the question or specifically how it's worded. So I like to have it out as kind of a cheat, I suppose, even though that's not really what it is. But we're gonna zoom in just a touch. Maybe not that much actually, because we're gonna be having the 3 cards, aren't we? Okay, so we'll shuffle, and then once I lay the cards, we'll zoom in as needed. Okay. So let's use the oracle first. So question is, in what area should I cultivate patience and nurturing energy during this time? Okay. This is interesting because I've definitely been feeling a disconnect with my practice. I've been trying to find ways to incorporate magic into my practice. I've been trying to come up with ways to ritualize and kind of set a schedule for myself, because that's that doesn't sound romantic, right? Like scheduling your magic, but that is what works for me. And without a schedule, I just don't do it. I forget, or I do other things, but if I have a set time every single day that I know I sit down and do the thing, it winds up working better for me. So we're gonna slide that up momentarily. Actually, we're gonna slide it way up for just a moment. Okay, so in what area should I cultivate patience and nurturing energy during this time? So with magic being the card, I think I would say, what area of magic should I be trying to cultivate with more intention? Okay. Interesting. All right, well, do I have a third question? Let's see. 10 of Scrolls, which I believe is the 10 of Wands. Fairly certain. Let's make sure. Yes, Scrolls. So there's swords, okay. So set 10 of Scrolls, 10 of Swords, 10 of Swords. Interesting, okay. And then the Muse, Queen of Spirals. Spirals is Wands, okay. So 10 of Swords, Queen of Wands. All right, well, let's pull out this little white book, see what it says. I'm not getting an immediate, let's move these up here, and then if we need to add in more cards, we can. I'm not getting an immediate hit, I guess, on what this might mean. So we are going to utilize the book. And actually, I have this guidebook and I forgot to grab it, so hold please. Okay, so I did buy this book separate from the deck. I wasn't sure if I would like the deck, so I bought the deck first. It was on sale, and then the book separately. So I think it was like $22 for everything together. So anyway, all right, 10 of Scrolls. Yep. Okay. I will not be reading this. If you would like to pause, go for it. Okay. Let's see. I am going to pause myself though to allow myself to read this, and then I will come back and we can discuss. Okay. So after reading the 10 of Scrolls, what I'm getting is that I need to, the structure of how I want to carry out my magic is fine. I'm good with that. I've come to terms with the fact that I need to have a schedule to do these things. But when I sit down to do it, it doesn't necessarily have to be confined within a box, right? I can sit and meditate and allow the magic, whatever it is I'm trying to do in that moment, kind of come to me intuitively. There were a couple things in the book. Let's see. So it says you will attract and keep on attracting people and circumstances that mirror the vibrational energy pattern you emit. So instead of stressing about, I haven't done these things that I want to do in weeks or days or whatever it is, just to relax and to breathe and to sit down when the moment calls to me to do it and enjoy myself and essentially stop limiting myself, because really that's what it is. I'm limiting myself by stressing over the fact that I don't have a set schedule yet, which is something that I've discovered. I have to do something for a while before I kind of am able to find that repetitive pattern, and once I do, I cling and I hold on for dear life, and generally speaking that works for me. Obviously there's exceptions, but as a whole, and I feel like I haven't quite gotten there yet. I have a really good schedule with my journaling, and anyway, let's see what else. So one thing I've noticed, the art on the card is different than what's in the book, interestingly. So I don't know, I'm assuming the deck has been changed, because I think this was one of the, I assume maybe one of the first prints. Oh my gosh, my stomach is so obnoxious when I sit down to do these videos. So ignore that. Let's see. So it also says the 10 of Scrolls is prescriptive. The tiger invites you to reclaim the power that defines her role as a spirit guide, which I find interesting. I haven't really delved into animal spirit energy working. It's something that I'm curious about. I know Tegan over at Cosmic Creeper has been doing that. I haven't been able to find my footing with that practice. So all of that aside, I find this interesting. And honestly, now that I'm saying that out loud, I did join Tegan's Patreon. I believe I'm in the whatever tier she has for book club. I need to go back in and look at those tiers and see if, and maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I need to go in and see, maybe this is kind of my calling to let that be something that guides my self-inflicted scheduling, I suppose. Maybe that can be something that helps me set my practice. So, okay. I'll take that. Let's see. It says intention and desire are then brought into balance with your energy signature, and you can break the cycle, which, you know, is kind of, for me at least, the cycle is that narrative of, oh, I don't have a schedule. I don't know where I'm going. What should I do? I want to do magic and I want to do these rituals, but anyway, that's stressful, like inner dialogue that sometimes does not shut up. So I'm going to pause again. I'm going to find the muse, read up on that, and then I will be back. Okay. This one was really good. I will put this here. You can pause it if you'd like to read it. Short entry. So, ironically, or not so ironically, as we learned tarot to be, this morning same concept. I was thinking, you know, how can I really immerse myself in magical workings, you know? And I tend to equate all of this, right? Tarot, metaphysical, intuition, gods, deities, all of that kind of stuff. I sort of tend to relate that all to religion, which, whether or not we don't have to agree on why that may or may not work. But for me, that's how I equate it. That's how I sort of classify it and put it into its little containers to make sense for myself. I did not grow up being taught religions so much like in my household, but I think, as I've mentioned before, I grew up in a really, really predominantly religious area. And so everyone I knew believed, you know, the same thing essentially. They grew up with it. They were taught a very specific set of rules from a very specific book, and I was not. So, but you know, growing up around that, obviously you're influenced by it. But I think I'm struggling now. If I'm being completely honest, I'm struggling with believing all of this. It's like it resonates with me and it feels right. And when things, you know, when I do a tarot reading and it falls into place, I'm like, yeah, this is why, you know. I've manifested things before, you know, I've done the whole routine of writing down the manifestation and, you know, holding a ritual for myself and doing it, and this stuff has happened. So it's like, I know it's true, but it also sometimes, and I guess this is my brain getting in the way, sometimes it just feels like I try to overanalyze it, which then takes away the magic. And I'm sure I'm not alone in this. I'm sure we've all been there. But I feel like I'm struggling with fully immersing myself into all of this, you know? And so that's what makes it difficult for me to make time for and to make space for. So this reading feels very relevant given the question, which was, in what area should I cultivate patience and nurturing energy during this time? So on the Muse, I think mostly what they talked about, you know, the author, what she talked about was, I'm going to mess up what she said specifically. It says, it's easy to resonate with the Muse archetype because she's so unassuming and approachable. She's the one who wakes you up at odd hours with creative inspirations. Her companion is the troupe's wise old man. She's the troupe's peaceful dove, a soft and loving reflection of the divine feminine. Let's see. The Muse is the mistress of our passion, although we may not have discovered what our passion is yet. If that's true, this may be because of feelings of powerlessness, low self-esteem, or a chronic pessimistic attitude. So yeah, you know, I feel like, especially in this particular image, which again, that's why we do tarot, right? We can read the message, we can get from the images. To me, she's like holding up her hand to magic, like, you know, she's looking somewhere other than the magic, which is kind of the point for me. Like, I need to put my hand down, relax, I don't need to deny anything. I don't need to justify anything. I can just be in the moment and enjoy it for what it is, take from it what resonates, leave what doesn't, which generally speaking, it usually resonates. So, okay. This is interesting. I like this. And it's funny because she, you know, her wand is here in this side. Like, she's kind of like, I don't have time for this attitude here. Magic has a way of touching the heart and drawing power from the soul. Okay, so let's look at, I don't feel like I need to necessarily look at the book, but let's read and see what it says about this. Don't worry, I will not read for you. I will let you pause. Let's see if this is. Okay. I am also going to be pausing so that I have a chance to read this, and then I will come back. But if you would like to pause here and here, I think, oh, there's one more. Okay, I haven't even gotten past the first like 2 sentences. You guys, I did not open this book and read it before I said what I said about manifesting. But the first line here is magic. The invisible art of manifestation has a way of touching the heart and drawing power from the soul. So, the art of magic is a technique for influencing change. Magical manifestations are all that can be seen and touched, imagined, or understood. So, okay, what I am getting from this, without finishing what the guidebook says, which I will come back and read for myself in a little bit, but what I'm getting from this is that I'm already doing it. I feel like this is sort of me pushing back, even though what I'm pushing against is literally what I'm trying not to push against. I think I'm fighting myself. I think I'm already doing the things. And I need to quit stressing about it. This is interesting. Okay, well. So now I think at this point, obviously I'm going to journal, and that is, but this method, this technique, this is basically what I do, like I said, on an almost daily basis. Sometimes it's just a single card if I don't have a whole lot of time, to delve into it, or if I don't have a lot of writing time. But generally I will do a 3-card, some kind of, whether it's 1 oracle and 2 tarot or 3 tarot or whatever. Yeah, that's part of my daily practice. And so actually, even that in and of itself is part of the magic. So yeah, I guess that answers that. So this one's a short one, I suppose, for today. I don't really feel like we need to go through a second one, but yeah, thank you for being here again and hanging out for a few minutes, and I hope the rest of your week goes swimmingly. I will see you guys next week. Bye.